The Anthropic Principle, the most dangerous idea in the universe. Right now you're listening to my voice, you are breathing, your heart is beating, and something so incredible is happening that most scientists prefer not to think about it. The fact is, the mathematical probability of your existence equals 0, not metaphorically, literally. According to all the laws of physics and statistics, you should not exist. I should not exist. This planet, these stars, our entire universe, none of this should exist. And yet here we are. You're watching strange Attractor, and today we're diving into one of the most dangerous ideas in the history of science. An idea that keeps physicists awake at night, makes philosophers question reality, and forces ordinary people to rethink the meaning of existence. Welcome to the world of the Anthropic Principle, a concept that could forever change your understanding of who you are and why anything exists at all, the cosmic roulette of death. Let us start with a simple question. What does it take for life to emerge in the universe? It turns out, a lot, and everything must be tuned with precision that surpasses human understanding. Imagine a giant roulette wheel, but not an ordinary casino roulette with 37 numbers. Imagine a roulette wheel with divisions equal to 1 followed by 120 zeros. This number is larger than the quantity of all atoms in the observable universe, multiplied by the number of all stars in all galaxies, multiplied again by 1 trillion trillions. And out of all these unimaginable possibilities, only one single number makes life possible. Only one. And now the most astounding thing, our universe landed exactly on this number. The ball of the cosmic roulette stopped exactly where it needed to. How is this possible? It is like buying a lottery ticket and winning the grand prize, then the next day buying another one and winning again, and so on every day for 1 billion years straight. The Swiss clockwork of the universe. Let us look at the specific numbers that make scientists lose their minds. Let us start with gravity. This force that keeps you on Earth determines how stars form, how they live, and how they die. If gravity were just 1% stronger, stars would burn out thousands of times faster. Instead of 10 billion years of life, only a few million. This is catastrophically insufficient for the emergence of life. If gravity were just 1% weaker, stars could not ignite at all. Hydrogen clouds would remain clouds, cold and lifeless. No stars, no light, no energy for life. But this is only the beginning. Take the cosmological constant, the mysterious force that makes the universe expand ever faster. Its value must be precise to 1 part in 10 to the 120th power. Imagine this precision. It is like aiming at a coin, but the coin would be at a distance of 14 billion light years, at the edge of the observable universe, and you would need not just to hit the coin, but to hit a specific atom on its surface, blindfolded, in complete darkness, with one shot, and you must hit it. Because if you miss by even one atom in any direction, the universe will either collapse back into a point within a fraction of a second after the Big Bang, or expand so fast that even atoms will never form. Stellar alchemy and carbon magic. But the real magic begins when we talk about how heavy elements appeared in the universe. You see, in the first moments after the Big Bang, only hydrogen and helium existed. That is all. No carbon, no oxygen, iron, silicon. Nothing that is necessary for life. All these elements had to be forged in the nuclear furnaces of stars. Every carbon atom in your body, every oxygen atom you breathe, every iron atom in your blood. All of this is literally stardust, remnants of stars that lived and died billions of years ago. But here is the problem. The process of creating carbon in stars requires incredibly specific conditions. First, 3 helium nuclei must collide almost simultaneously, an event so rare it is called the triple alpha process. But even if this happens, the resulting carbon is extremely unstable and decays within fractions of a second. The only way to preserve carbon is if a very specific energy level exists in the atomic nucleus. This level must be exactly 7.65 mega-electron volts. Not 7.64, not 7.66, exactly 7.65, precise to the 3rd decimal place. When the great astrophysicist Fred Hoyle first calculated this figure in the 1950s, he was so amazed by its precision that he declared, "My atheistic convictions were greatly shaken. It seems as if some super intellect has been monkeying with physics. But carbon is only the beginning. Creating oxygen requires even more specific conditions. Too much oxygen, and all carbon will turn into oxygen, leaving no material for organic life. Too little, and there will be no water. The balance must be perfect, and it is perfect. The great fine-tuning. The number of lucky coincidences in the universe is mind-boggling. The mass of the proton and neutron differs by only 0.14%. If this difference was slightly larger, protons would decay into neutrons, and hydrogen atoms would not exist in the universe. No hydrogen, no water, no fuel for stars, no life. The electromagnetic force compared to the strong nuclear interaction is tuned to within 1%. Change it, and either atomic nuclei will not be able to hold electrons, or electrons will not be able to form chemical bonds. The ratio of electron mass to proton mass, another parameter tuned with jeweler's precision. Change it, and molecules cannot form. Even the number of spatial dimensions seems perfectly chosen. In a two-dimensional world, complex structures are impossible. In a four-dimensional world, planetary orbits are unstable and atoms cannot exist. Only in three-dimensional space is complex, stable matter possible. We live in a universe calibrated with the precision of Swiss clockwork. No, a Swiss clockmaker compared to the creator of our universe looks like a clumsy novice, the birth of the Anthropic Principle. In the 1960s and 70s of the last century, physicists began systematically measuring the fundamental constants of nature and making calculations that time and again led to the same stunning conclusion. The universe looks specially created for life. This was so unexpected and uncomfortable for the scientific community that for a long time it was preferred not to talk about it. After all, science had fought for centuries against the idea that humans occupy a special place in the universe. Copernicus showed that Earth is not the centre of creation. Darwin proved that humans descended from apes, not created in the divine image. Hubble discovered that our galaxy is just one of billions. It seemed the trend was clear. Humanity was gradually losing its special position in the universe. We are just one form of life on one planet around one star in one galaxy. But then something unexpected happened. Physics seemed to strike back, providing evidence that the universe somehow knows about our existence. In 1973, physicist Brandon Carter gave this phenomenon a name, the Anthropic Principle, from the Greek word anthropos, human. And this name immediately sparked debates that continue to this day, weak versus strong. Carter proposed two versions of the Anthropic Principle, and the difference between them could determine our understanding of reality. The weak Anthropic Principle is fairly harmless. It simply states the obvious. We observe a universe compatible with our existence because if it were incompatible, we would not be here to observe it. This is the classic survivorship bias. Imagine you're standing before a firing squad of 1,000 snipers. All shoot, but somehow, miraculously miss. You might conclude that the snipers deliberately aimed away, but actually you just happened to be in that reality where you randomly survived. In all other realities you are dead and cannot ponder your luck. The same goes for the universe. Perhaps the parameters are random, and we just happen to be in that version of reality where they are suitable for life. But the strong Anthropic Principle is something entirely different. It states that the universe must possess properties that allow life and observers to develop. Not just can, but must. This means consciousness is not an accident, but an inevitability. That observers are a necessary part of the cosmic picture. The difference might seem academic, but it is actually fundamental. The first version leaves us as cosmic vagrants who accidentally found themselves in a suitable universe. The second makes us central characters in the cosmic drama. The multiverse, the last refuge of skeptics. How do scientists try to explain the universe's fine-tuning without resorting to the idea of intelligent design? They propose the most radical solution in the history of science, the multiverse. Imagine an infinite sea of soap bubbles. Each bubble is a separate universe with its own laws of physics, its own constants, its own history. Most of these universes are dead. In some, gravity is so strong that everything collapses into a black hole within fractions of a second after birth. In others, so weak that even atoms never form. In some universes, the electromagnetic force is millions of times stronger, and electrons simply cannot stay near nuclei. In others, so weak that atoms fall apart at the slightest impact. The vast majority of universes in this multiverse are empty, cold, lifeless spaces where nothing interesting ever happens. But if there are infinitely many universes, then sooner or later, purely by chance, in some of them all parameters will come together perfectly. And these will be the only universes where beings capable of asking, "Why is everything so fortunately tuned?" can appear. We live in one of these rarest universes simply because only in them can we exist. In the other trillions of dead universes, there is no one who could wonder at their emptiness. The multiverse idea is not just fantasy. It naturally arises from several serious physical theories. The theory of eternal inflation suggests that our Big Bang was just one of countless Big Bangs, each creating its own pocket world with unique properties. String theory allows for the existence of up to 10 to the 500th power different types of universes. That is a 1 with 500 zeros of different combinations of physical laws. The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics suggests that every quantum event splits reality into multiple parallel branches. The problem with the multiverse. But the multiverse theory has a fundamental problem. It is impossible to test. We cannot visit other universes. We cannot detect them. We cannot even prove their existence indirectly. By definition, if other universes exist, we never interact with them. Some critics argue that the multiverse is not a scientific theory at all, but a philosophical belief disguised as science. After all, if a theory cannot be tested, how does it differ from religious faith? Others object that the multiverse is not a hypothesis, but an inevitable consequence of our best physical theories. We do not choose whether to believe in it or not. It simply follows from the mathematics. But what if there is a third way? What if fine-tuning points not to randomness among infinite universes and not to a divine creator, but to something even stranger? Consciousness and quantum reality. Here the story takes a turn that many physicists would prefer to forget. In quantum mechanics, there exists a deep puzzle known as the measurement problem. As long as no one observes a quantum particle, it exists in a state of superposition. It is simultaneously in all possible states. An electron can simultaneously spin clockwise and counterclockwise. A photon can simultaneously pass through two slits. An atom can simultaneously be excited and unexcited. But the moment an observer enters the picture, this quantum uncertainty instantly collapses into one specific state. Reality literally crystallizes under the gaze of consciousness. Most physicists try to avoid the radical implications of this fact. They say the observer is simply any measuring device, not necessarily a conscious being. But some serious scientists come to a more provocative conclusion. Consciousness plays a fundamental role in the structure of reality. What if the Anthropic Principle reflects not just that the universe allows the existence of observers, but that it requires them? What if without conscious beings capable of observing and measuring, reality remains in a state of quantum uncertainty? In this interpretation, we are not just random witnesses to cosmic evolution. We are necessary participants in the very process of existence, the universe, knowing itself. This idea leads us to one of the deepest thoughts in human history. What if consciousness is not a byproduct of evolution, not an accidental property of sufficiently complex nervous systems, but the way the universe knows itself? Think about it. 13 billion years ago, nothing existed but hot plasma expanding in empty space. No one could observe this expansion. No one could think about it, wonder at it, study it. Gradually, this unconscious matter organized itself into stars, planets, molecules, cells, organisms, and finally into thinking beings. And now, billions of years later, hydrogen atoms forged in the first minutes after the Big Bang have become part of the human brain, which is capable of contemplating the Big Bang. Carbon atoms created in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars now form neural networks that can understand how stars work. The universe has literally awakened. Through us, it looks at itself, studies its laws, marvels at its beauty, asks questions about its origin and purpose. Every time you look at the starry sky and feel awe, this is not just a human emotion. This is the universe experiencing awe before itself. Every scientific discovery is not just an expansion of human knowledge. This is the universe discovering its own secrets. Every moment of self-awareness is a moment of cosmic awakening. Future gods. If this picture is correct, then truly divine possibilities open before humanity. Imagine a civilization that has fully understood the principles of fine-tuning. Such a civilization could not just study the universe, but create new universes. Perhaps in 1,000 years, humans will be growing pocket universes in laboratories like we now grow crystals. Each such universe could have its own laws of physics, its own forms of matter, its own types of life and consciousness. We could become cosmic gardeners, seeding reality with seeds of new forms of existence. Or imagine an even more grandiose possibility: the unification of all intelligent beings in the universe into a single cosmic neural network. Each consciousness would become a neuron in a colossal metabrain capable of thinking on the scales of galaxies and epochs. Such a cosmic mind could not only understand the universe, but direct its evolution. It could prevent the heat death of the cosmos, create new stars, control black holes, perhaps even restart cycles of birth and death of reality itself. But with such power comes cosmic responsibility, the great choice. The Anthropic Principle places humanity before a choice that will determine not only our future, but the future of consciousness itself in the universe. If we truly are the universe's way of knowing itself, then every extinct species, every lost culture, every missed chance for consciousness development is a cosmic tragedy. It is like tearing pages from the book the universe is writing about itself. Wars, ecological catastrophes, suppression of science and education. All of this is not just human tragedy. These are obstacles on the path of cosmic awakening. On the other hand, every scientific discovery, every work of art, every moment of deep understanding or compassion is a victory not only for humanity but for reality itself. When we explore space, we help the universe explore itself. When we create art, we help it express its beauty. When we love, we help it love itself. Solitude or community? But this raises one of the most important questions of our time. Are we alone in the universe? If the cosmos is truly fine-tuned for life, then why do we not see it everywhere? Where are all the other civilizations? Where are the cosmic megastructures, interstellar messages, traces of intelligent activity? Perhaps life is widespread, but intelligence is rare. Billions of years of evolution might spawn complex ecosystems, but only in exceptional cases does something appear that is capable of questioning the meaning of its own existence. Perhaps most civilizations self-destruct at an early stage of development. Nuclear wars, ecological collapses, uncontrolled artificial intelligence. The path from discovering fire to space travel is full of deadly traps. Or maybe advanced civilizations transition to forms of existence we cannot detect. They upload their consciousness to quantum computers, move to parallel dimensions, or transform into pure information. And maybe, and this is the most exciting possibility, we are among the first. The universe is only 13.8 billion years old, which is quite young by cosmic standards. Perhaps we are pioneers of consciousness in a young universe, the first eyes with which it opens, the first thoughts it thinks about itself, questions without answers. The Anthropic Principle does not give us simple answers. Instead, it poses questions that seem both impossible and inevitable. Why does something exist rather than nothing? Why are the laws of physics exactly as they are? Is consciousness a fundamental property of reality or its accidental product? Is there meaning in existence, or do we invent it ourselves? Do we bear responsibility for the fate of the universe, or are we just passengers on a spaceship flying to an unknown destination? Perhaps the most important thing about these questions is not the answers to them, but the very fact that we are capable of asking them. After all, in a universe that began as chaos of hot particles, there are now beings capable of contemplating infinity, creating music, experiencing love, sacrificing themselves for others, dreaming of the future and grieving the past. This itself is a miracle that no physical theory can fully explain. Cosmic legacy. And here we come to the most important point. Right now, listening to these words, you are participating in a process that began 13.8 billion years ago. The atoms in your body were forged in the nuclear furnaces of stars that lived and died long before the sun was born. The elements that make up your thoughts traveled through space for billions of years to end up exactly here, exactly now, exactly in you. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every decision you make, this is not just your personal story. This is a continuation of the story of the universe itself. If the Anthropic Principle is right, then you are not just an observer of the cosmic drama. You are one of its main characters, perhaps one of the most important characters. because through you, the universe not only knows itself but chooses its future. Every action you take, every thought you think sends ripples through the fabric of reality, influencing what tomorrow will be not only for humanity, but for the cosmos itself.